All right. Thanks, Paul. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate you covering us and appreciate you being with us today. Let me get my iPad up and running here so I can get my stuff. I apologize in advance, but I'll go back and start with recapping players of the game from last week. And game, Stephon Robinson was our offensive player of the week. Bryce Gallagher on defense and Ray Nyra on special teams. All three guys made plays respectfully in those areas. I thought we played pretty complimentary football. Big playmaker was Malik Washington, and big playmaker on defense was Adetomiwa Adebawore. Practice players were Carmine Bastone, J.B. Butler, and Theron Johnson. So really appreciate those three guys, the effort level that they're giving. And it was great to see my teammates and Coach Barnett and his staff. It was a great homecoming celebration. And really want to thank our support staff, Jacob Schmidt, Darby Dunnigan, and Demetrius Fields, and a host of others for the job that they did, making that reunion and other events, first class. So it was great to get a win and get that accomplished while all those great guys and great coaches were here. And then looking to, want to say big shout out to the Sky with their WNBA championship. It's always great to see championship trophies here in Chicago, and I want to congratulate them on their amazing run and amazing championship performance. First time going up to Ann Arbor since 15, again, on one of the cathedrals of college football. So it'll be a tough environment for us to play in. Honored to have an opportunity to compete for the Jewett Trophy and the legacy of George Jewett. It's my understanding there'll be a number of his family members that will be there. So to honor his legacy and to really, I think, have a trophy that stands for what's great in college football. We're first African-American player, both Michigan and here at Northwestern. I know our guys are excited to honor his legacy and compete for a trophy and all that it means. So with the first of obviously a great tradition moving forward. And I know we're honored as a university to be a part of something this special. So, we'll talk about that as a squad again tomorrow. We talked about it in training camp and actually when it first got presented to us. So it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of it. And, look forward to honoring Mr. Jewett's legacy the right way. So with that, I'd love to answer any all questions.
Once again, if you have a question, please message Athletic Communications in the chat. First question for Austin Siegel.
Coach, it seems like Ryan continues to look more comfortable every week. What do you think have been some of the keys to his development in your system? Well,
Austin, I think it's just familiarity now with playing in games. He didn't play a lot last year, if any. And then, starting off the year, from a transfer standpoint, really only had 2 weeks of spring ball. So I just think he's growing every day and every rep. And, I thought he played pretty clean. He got away with a couple of throws that we won't be able to get away with this week against the Wolverines defense, but for the most part made really good decisions with the ball. And, I think, the things that are important for quarterback play, right? Putting the ball in your playmaker's hands, taking what the defense gives you, taking care of the football, and then ultimately getting us down, and scoring, especially when we're in the scoring zone and scoring touchdowns and winning football games. And, to be able to get that done was, I think, a great boost of confidence for him. But going to have our hands full with this defense. I mean, this group is relentless. So it's going to be a huge challenge.
Drew Schott.
Hey, Coach, can you speak about how you've seen Chris Bergen grow as not only a player, but as a leader during his time in your defense, specifically in the linebacking core, now what he means to the rest of the people in that group, including Bryce?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, he just came in with a chip on his shoulder and a ton to prove. Not being recruited and starting in our program as a walk-on. He's absolutely one of the most relentless guys I've been around. His film prep, the way he takes care of his body, what he does from a preventative standpoint, then the way that he practices every day. I mean, this guy is the Energizer Bunny, man. I mean, he comes every day ready to work and grind and get after it. And, I think it shows from that standpoint. Leadership wise, I think like anybody, leadership's coupled with performance, and he's performed so well throughout his entire career, not only at linebacker, but also in special teams, that I think gives guys great confidence in him as a teammate. And then, they trust in what he says because he's gone out and he's earned it. So he's meant the world to our program. I think he means a ton to our linebacking core with two, younger quote unquote experienced guys, now on the field with him. And, I thought he made some big plays on Saturday.
Daniel Ollinger.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, a win against this Michigan team would mean a lot to your team this year. But what do you also think something like that would mean to the program as a whole, seeing as it's been all the way since 2008 since you guys last beat Michigan?
Well, I'm more focused on us trying to find a way to get a first down and get a stop and execute the kick game. The big picture stuff I think is great for you all to talk about, but we just need to go out and play consistent football to give ourselves an opportunity to compete. And, for the most part on Saturday, we probably played our best collective game in all three phases, and we got to build upon that spark. But we've got great respect for Michigan, their talent, their coaching, to be a great environment up there, on Fox, kicking off at noon local. So we just got to put a great week of practice together and get our minds right. And then, play cleaner than we have on the road this year. We have not played very well on the road. And this is, by far probably the best team we've played all year to this point. It's not even close, in my opinion, watching everybody on tape. So that I've seen, that we've prepared for. So this can be a huge challenge.
Gabriella Carroll.
Hi, Coach. So Michigan obviously has an electric offense, especially the running game. You guys really struggled in the running with defending the run earlier in the season, especially against Michigan State. How do you feel like you've grown since then? And what do you feel like has improved with your defensive line since then? And how do you think you'll attack that?
Yeah, I think, Gabriel, I think fundamentally, number one, I think we were much better here last week. And really in a couple games, we've been poor and it's hurt us. And then at other times, we've been every bit as good as we've ever been. So just trying to get guys to execute fundamentally and consistent in a consistent manner. And then, fitting gaps and tackling would be number two. There's some times that I've kind of looked at some plays and just wondered to myself, what in the wild world of sports are we doing? And then, I think three, just getting, better effort and more population to the football. And, it's going to be really challenging against Michigan. They do a lot of formation variations. They really make you think and have to operate and execute and communicate pre-snap. And then obviously the group up front that they have, including their tight ends, and then the two-headed monster that they have in the backfield is as dynamic of a running group as anybody you'll see. And then when you load the box, their skill on the outside can score. So it's going to be a huge challenge for our defense. There's no doubt, but it's also a huge opportunity.
Dave Ennett.
Fitz, good morning. You're no stranger to Michigan Stadium. You said it's one of the more challenging environments you'll play in. You played in one pretty challenging environment a couple of weeks ago, but it's not the loudest place in the Big Ten. What makes it so difficult?
Yeah, I think since they put the luxury suites on the top, it's gotten louder, Dave. At least my experience is up there. That's the way it is. And their fans are so well educated. I mean, the big house is what it is for a reason. So, just, focus each play at a time and make it where you're executing. When you're not executing, you allow the fans to have a lot of fun because you're getting your butt whipped. So, I hope that we can execute a lot cleaner than we did when we were in Lincoln. Especially early. We can't allow ourselves to get in that kind of hole.
Michael Fitzpatrick.
Hey, Coach. On Saturday, it looked like a lot more 4-3, keep three linebackers on the field, cover four kind of stuff. Is that the base going forward, or is that just more of a Rutgers-specific plan?
You want me to answer that?
I'll rephrase. How about that? Using the bye week, how did the bye week?
I'm not going to tell you anything schematically on what we're going to do. You get to wait and write an article on Saturday and nitpick how many guys were in for how many snaps. But we're going to do what we think we got to do to stop people. Do the best job we can. Sometimes we don't do a very good job. And you know how I feel. You guys have been there covering me for a while. I'll be the first to admit when we don't do it well. So. But we're trying to get our best 11 on the field to match what we need to do and how we need to do it every single play in all three phases. That's what the bye week did for us. Solidified that.
Patrick Andres.
Hey, Coach. when the linebackers are going out and executing like they did against Rutgers on Saturday, how big is that for your team's success day in and day out? What kind of confidence boost is it?
Yeah, Patrick, as a former linebacker that made a lot of plays unblocked, the entire credit goes to our D line. I thought our D line played their best game of the year on Saturday against Rutgers, and we were unblocked a lot. And in contrast to some of our earlier games, we actually tackled much better at linebacker. So that's where I think we played better on Saturday at linebacker, was our tackling for the most part. But I thought our D line was much better, fundamentally first, and then gap control second, and then the way they executed the calls. So that needs to continue to go. And I'm proud of those guys because they really played poorly against Nebraska. So the way they responded was great, and they're going to have a huge challenge this week against, you could argue the most physical offensive line and tight ends in the country.
Time for one more question. Drew Schott.
Hey, Coach, this will be your third time coaching against Jim Harbaugh. Can you speak about your experience coaching against him, and specifically in 2021, what you think this year's Michigan team brings as compared to years past that you've coached against him?
Well, I've got great respect for Jim and for his family. I've been, close with John for a number of years, and known Jim for a number of years also, and got great respect for the programs that he's run and the success that he's had. They just put a lot of pressure on you schematically, but I think what they pride themselves in more than anything is how physical they're playing in all three phases, and it just jumps off the tape when you watch it. So the 2021 team, that's what you see, and you do your preparation and reading about the DNA, and it just seems like they're having a lot of fun. It seems like they're playing for each other and playing with great connectivity, and it just shows when you pop the tape on. I mean, it's the quarterback play has been outstanding. The big play home runs have been impressive. The grind you out, and then you pop on their defensive tape, and their front seven is violent. I mean, they're really violent. They're really, really physical across each position, and then the back end is as fast and physical as we've seen. So complete team. There's no doubt about that. That's why they're ranked in the top 10, and we're going to have our hands full, but we'll hopefully put together a great week of prep and go play our best game of the year and give ourselves a chance to compete up there in Ann Arbor. So appreciate everybody. Thanks for all you do to cover us, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks a lot, and go Cats.
First question for Austin Siegel.
Hey, Steph. So post-game, Ryan talked a lot about the chemistry you guys have, and I was just curious on your perspective, getting here as transfers, how have you guys kind of built that chemistry over the past few months?
When I first committed here, and when he first committed here, we talked a lot. He's from California, so we got that type of background history to us. So, and every time we're here, after we get done doing a set or anything like that, we always just talk about through things we see, even if the ball doesn't come to me, just talk about what he might do or what I might do on a specific route. So just continuing to do that every day.
Drew Schott.
Hey, Stefan, can you speak about your performance the wide receiver room as a whole. We saw Malik 64-yard touchdown. We saw JJ making his first catch since 2019. We saw Jacob Gill with the touchdown against Duke. Can you speak about what it's like being a part of this room and what you feel like each person brings to this offense?
I mean, before the season, like as a receiver group, we knew what we could bring to the table. You know, just a matter of time, just having an opportunity. So, Saturday was not a surprise to us. It finally happened, so we're really excited. And we want to build on that and just continue to make plays like that each and every game and be a factor in every game, not just being a one-time thing.
Another one for Austin.
It's definitely seen you guys come up with a lot of explosive plays this year. I was just curious, was that a point of emphasis, preseason, being a team that can stretch the field and create big plays downfield like that?
Yeah, we knew we had a dynamic core receiver. So, just like I said before, it's a matter of time before it actually it occurred. So we expect to make plays like that each and every game. So whenever we get the opportunity, we're going to make the most of it.
Daniel Ollinger.
Hey, Stefan, as you can probably tell, a lot of fans have they've been pretty excited about you so far this season, all of your big playmaking ability. Just how have you liked it here and how this fan base has kind of gravitated toward you so quickly?
I'll see stuff on social media that my mom sends me. So, it's good knowing I have support of the fans at Northwestern. So, going out there just playing for them and just playing for the community, it's a good feeling.
Awesome. Thank you, Stefan. Or Drew, did you have one more? Drew?
Yeah, just a quick one. Specifically going into Michigan with the secondary and kind of going off your earlier points about your chemistry with Ryan, coming in as graduate, how do you feel like the experience that you had at Kansas has helped this group overall as a whole continue to grow, including yourself?
I feel like at Kansas, I went against a lot of competition. I played against some first-round draft picks. So, going up against them and just having the ability to see different stuff ahead of time before it even happens now. So just having that experience and being able to make plays happen and seeing them right on the spot, instead of just being hit by them. So, just being an older guy and just making sure I'm making the plays I'm supposed to make.
All right. Thank you, Stefan.
Appreciate you guys.
First question, Austin Siegel.
Right, it's definitely a big game for you against Rutgers. I was curious, how have you handled, every week this season, it seems like more teams are game planning to stop you and kind of focusing on slowing you down on defense.
Yeah, with every game, I think you gain more and more experience and get more comfortable out there. So Saturday was definitely a great game for the whole defense. We were flying around, making plays, we were having fun, and just getting that experience and getting comfortable out there has been huge throughout the last 6 weeks.
Drew Schott.
Hey, Bryce. Chris, after the game on Saturday, spoke about your play, your growth as a player in this defense. Can you speak about how Chris and some of the older players that you've encountered on this team have helped your development as a player in this system and as a linebacker?
Yeah, so obviously the last 3 years being under Blake, Patty, and Chris's wing, I was just trying to be a sponge, trying to soak up everything that from their whole week preparation schedule to everything to watching them on Saturdays and just trying to take in as much as I can. And Chris this year, starting in spring ball last spring, has been a huge mentor for me. He's like a brother to me. He's like an older brother here for me now that Blake's not here. And he's been super helpful with just making sure that I'm staying and holding me accountable and making sure that I can be the player that I can be. So.
Another one for Austin.
Chris, another teammate I wanted to ask you about was Atoma. He was living on the backfield on Saturday. What have you kind of seen from him just in terms of the steps he's taken this season?
Yeah, I mean, Tommy, well, he's a beast. He's an athletic freak. He's explosive, and it's nice to be playing behind a guy like that who can be so disruptive in the backfield. And he's had a phenomenal year so far, and that's not just on Saturdays. You see that every single day in practice. He's an absolute freak in nature, and it's definitely nice to be playing behind him. He's a freak.
And just following up, I mean, when you guys are watching tape, who on this defense do you enjoy watching as a fan?
Everyone, to be completely honest. Coach O'Neill always talks about just sitting back and watching the defense as a whole. And when we're flying around and you just don't focus on one particular player and you watch all 11 guys are on the field and they're flying to the ball and making plays, I mean, that's awesome to see. So I would say everyone.
Go ahead, Drew.
Bryce, this offseason, Chris, after the Irish law firm in 2020, he called the kind of next linebackers up the firm 2.0. And you being a part of that, how would you analyze the group's performance 6 games into the season, especially after Coach Fitz said you guys tackled much better against Rutgers and collectively played your best game of 2021?
Yeah, I think definitely experience, just gaining experience throughout the weeks and getting more comfortable out there has been huge, and just growing each week and making sure you're not making the same mistakes that you made last week, the week after, and just make sure you're always having a growing mindset and never making the same mistake twice, and just consistently constant growth has been huge for us this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Bryce.
Thank you.